should be anchoring this session, but is finding his way here. So I'm your host this morning, and I have the responsibility to make everybody comfortable, and that we shall do. The other responsibility I also have this morning is to make sure that everybody finds value in today's session. So please just relax, and we're going to have a very, very good time together today, and everybody will be living here with very good value. A keynote speaker, I think he's making his way here. He'll be here shortly. That's in person of Otumba Kazeem Odeyeyiwa. Odeyeyiwa, the MD CEO of Rectin Group of Companies. He will be giving us the keynote speech this morning. Our major sponsors, our lead sponsor this morning, we have the representative of Fiber One Broadband. Fiber One Broadband, please can you stand up for recognition? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So those are the representatives of Fiber One Broadband internet service providers. Our keynote speaker comes in, and we also mention him especially because he is also his organization is also the co-sponsor for this event. Can we put our hands together for Rectin Group of Company? Thank you so much. One of our speakers is already in the hall. I guess, I don't know if the other two are here, but let me just quickly go through the roll call. Mr. Wole Odubayo, or his representative, the HR Director of Cadbury Nigeria PLC, is also our speaker this morning. All right, we have a representative this morning. Thank you so much from Cadbury. We also have Mr. Stanley Enoa. Stanley Enoa, HR Director for Promasido. Is he here, or a representative? Let's clap for them. Maybe they're on their way. I'm sure they'll be joining us shortly. And last but not the least, also the third speaker for this morning is Enita Oyenuga, Mrs. Enita Oyenuga, HR Director, Jumia. Is she here, or any representative? I guess she's on her way. Please, let's put hands together for our erudite speakers who will be speaking to us this morning. Now, after each of the speaking session, we have a group of panelists. And our panelists will be doing justice to the theme of this career fair. All right, the theme for Lagos Career Fair 2024 is building resilience, employability skills, and what? Positioning for growth. Can we chorus it together? Building resilience, employability skills, and positioning for growth. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there will be opportunities to interact, to ask questions, to have discussions with all our panelists and most of our speakers this morning. Right. I think we'll just quickly move to the next item on the agenda. That is the introduction of our lead sponsors for this morning event. Just for emphasis again, our lead sponsors for this event this morning is Fiber One Broadband and Rectin Group. Can we put our hands together for them once again? Thank you.
Have a mindset that you want to take something away. I mean, during the welcome address, we heard that much, and trust me, it's going to be important. I was going to let us do separation. Those who are confused, those who are stuck, stay here, so that we know that this is the people we are dealing with. But since we want everybody to benefit from this event, we'll just let everybody stay and remain on their seats and make sure that this benefits everybody. Normally, you are supposed to do this affirmation, I am enough, I can do better, but forget all of those things. If you don't have your skills in that, do affirmation from now to tomorrow. Zero. So that's why we are here. It's not just about praying and fasting. It's not just about saying positive words. Are you actually employable? Do you actually bring something to the table? No, not that thing you're thinking about. We are not talking about that table here. But really, if your employer asks you, what do you bring to the table? Why you're pondering on that response? Because I mean that should be the next valuable question that every employer should ask whoever they're interviewing. What do you bring to the table? So let me introduce our keynote speaker to us. He's a strategic business leader and he's a very, very effective human manager. You know, these days they call them human capital manager because there's a big deal when you're talking about human capital. He has an outstanding corporate executive portfolio with over 20 years professional work and business experience. You can eye him, but you're eyeing him physically, you also eye him intellectually. Maybe he's going to be your next interviewer, you never can tell. See, his exceptional business and human management skills are evident in the organizations he has established. And that's talking about one of the major partners of this event today, the Repton Group and its subsidiaries. We're talking about Kazab Heritage, Success League, Billion Motors, the Frost Ventures Limited, and Continental Vision. I mean, he's a man of timber and caliber. He's a man of Iroko and what? These people are not here. But then, someone said my husband is there. Okay, I'll give you one job very soon. Don't worry. Send your CV to me and I'll send it to our guy at the top. But ladies and gentlemen, with a lot of motivation and expectation that you want to gain something meaningful from this keynote address, please make welcome our keynote speaker, Mr. Oteyiwa Kesi, with a round of applause, please.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
When I was coming in, I could see virtual area jam-packed. I realized we are here for a real business. And what do I mean by a real business? To challenge ourselves, to look at what we are doing presently, and how can we make it better. My brother mentioned, he asked a question not quite long, that are you happy with what you are doing presently? Did you feel fulfilled? Did you think what you are doing presently is the best? But I leave the answer for every one of us that are here today. I was so happy when I was invited to be the speaker for this great gathering. And when I look at the theme of what the organizer is talking about, he's talking about employability, he's talking about positioning, and they're also talking about resilience. I can tell you guys for free that this is a combo. It is a combo. And the earlier we master that strategy, the better for us. And where I want to go about this session, I don't want to make it too mechanical. I want to make it center, because it's very important we get that aspect very clear. We are not here, yes, people are here to tell you we want to recruit in our organization. We are looking for this opening, we are looking for this opening. But the most important reason why we are here today is to equip you. And by the time we equip you, you now demystify and you are now convinced yourself that today I'm a winner from today on. Can anybody tell me the reason why? A first-class student, a second-class upper student, and a third-class student all go for an interview. And eventually, the company settled for a third-class student. Can someone tell me the reason? Can someone tell me the reason why you attended one of the best universities? You made a lot of sacrifice. I want to have first class. You read night, morning, afternoon. And eventually you finish. You are struggling to get a job. Can someone tell me the reason why? Don't worry. And in an organization, we see a very young, vibrant, a 2-2 student, a 2-1 person, having a flourishing career prospect in an organization. The summary of all this is, It is not a rocket science. It is a process. And in our organization, what I normally emphasize for my people is that nobody has the key. Nobody can determine your success. Nobody can tell you, guy, you can't go beyond this. It is only you that can determine where you want to be. And you have the destiny, you have every opportunity, but it doesn't come cheaply. It requires a lot of planning, it requires a lot of self-assessment, and it requires a lot of structural process. And to start this session, I'm going to start with employability skills. What are the basic things that I need to equip myself to make me very, very, very marketable, to make me very, very, very outstanding? What are you expected to focus on as a prospective job seeker, or for someone that already has a gainfully employment and you want to change his job? Number one, strong, effective communication skills. Very, very important. And when we are talking of communication skills, we can look at it quickly around 4 premises: listening, writing, communicating, and what? Reading. You must have a top-notch attributes around these 4 premises of communication. Strong interpersonal skills. You must have a strong relationship skills in terms of your relationship with your colleagues and people around you. What is your personal development plan and learning plan? Self-awareness, emotional intelligence. Research over time have shown that people with a very strong emotional intelligence, they have a good, fast, even stronger career than people with a strong, intelligent quotient. What is your problem-solving skills? Stroke analytical skills. All business owners, they are looking for people that are going to make that easy for them. I can go extra mile to make sure that we bring the right person to the business. I have a passion for people that can make life easy for me. Because the more you have a strong people around the business, the more you are guaranteeing the going concern of that business. The more you can say, this is our growth plan, and you can work it up. There's a difference between working in an organization, a profit-making organization, and you are working in government agencies, you are working in government parastatals, you are working in local government. Sorry, I want to know, do you have people from government agencies here? Government agencies? Government agencies, no, I'm not talking about a fresher from a doing service. I'm working in a government established agency like government okay, let me put it government parastatals or from a local government. That's good. It means that all of us that are here, we are prospective business owners. So what do I mean by that? What is the difference between working in normal organization and you are working in what? In government agency, government parastatals, and local government? The people working in government parastatals, they are eating our commonwealth. They are eating our commonwealth. All what they are eating 24/7 in local government is that sharing of the money from Abuja. But in a structured organization, no free money. What trickles down to the going concern is what comes from what? From the sales. From the sales, that's what we recognize we finance person as a turnover. We take care of all the various stakeholders, and we now have what we call net profit. Any business that cannot guarantee net profit, it is a matter of time, such a business is going to collapse. The first, what guarantee an existence of a business is what? When that business has opportunity, when that business has capacity to generate what we call what? A continuous revenue and profit. So that people, a conscious, a professional business owner will go extra miles to go for people that can add this value. Nobody wants to settle for people that are not going to add value to the going concern of the organizations. So I'm dwelling around a problem-solving and analytical stage. It's one of the very strong pillars that you need to deliberately, through a conscious effort, to make sure that you embed yourself. You must have that innovations. You must be creative. We're in a digital world. You need to be what? You need to be innovative. You should not be analog. You need to work in line with what is going on. A contemporary solution to complex situations. Planning an organization. You must learn how to plan yourself very well. Self-management. You must learn how to do your self-management properly. Ethical awareness. Leadership skills. Some of us will believe that when we are talking of leadership, that leadership, it is all about when you are at that senior level. That you are only expected to show leadership at a senior level. In an organization, in a structured organization, we have what we call the entry level, we have the medium, we have the minimum level, which is the more like intermediate, and we have the executive level. At this various level, the entry level, medium level, the executive level, you are expected to arm yourself with some level of expected leadership quality. And ability to write CV. I've seen many CV. You need to make your CV to be very, very attractive. Let it be a document that even near open it, someone is going to be very, very attractive that I need to take my time to go through it. You need to have a persuasive covering letter. You need to clearly state in your covering letter why you are the right person. Why you are the right person for that particular opening that you are talking about. The interview skills. I've interviewed people, and I clearly confirm that such a people, they are not prepared. When you are going for interview, you need to arm yourself. It is something that you need, it is all about your life. You need to do a lot of research. You need to do a lot of background check. You need to arm yourself with a lot of information about that prospective organization. Under the first part of the session, that is building and employability skills. Those are the key attributes that you must arm yourself with. All these attributes are very, very important attributes that is going to make you to grow within an organization. Once you arm yourself with all this, you have that tenacity, you have that belief, you can be rest assured that you are going to get your desired job. The second aspect is how do you position yourself? How do you create an aroma around yourself? How do you make yourself to turn yourself that without me, even if I tell my organization I want to resign, the organization will call me. Young man, where do you want to go? Can we double your salary? Can we triple your salary? How can you make yourself more like it is all about me? And in organization, once you guys are doing that, some people will think that this guy is doing an eye service. This man wants to do more. It is not all about that. It is all about you want to carve a niche for yourself. And carving a niche for yourself, you can be trust. You are building that resilience. You are building yourself. You are building yourself beyond what you are doing presently, or you are building yourself for the future. So that around position within organization, what are the key attributes also that you need to equip yourself with? Number one is still around communication. Communication is very, very important. We've seen a lot of people with great ideas, brilliant ideas, great focus, great visions. Now, to translate all these ideas to simple communications, it is a great problem for them. So that number one point around positioning is communication. And second one, we need to exploit close segments of the job market. Most of us, we are only after the announced or advertised openings. How are we moving? How are we doing extra effort to make sure that we are searching? We call it unsolicited search. You throw in your CV, believe in yourself, and you throw in your CV, make findings about organizations. What are their likely openings? And once you know this opening, then you throw in your CV, so that probably they are looking for that right opening. The third one is self-development and marketing. If you notice, we also talked about self-development under the employability skills. You also need to develop yourself. Marketing yourself is very important. A little success, you need to celebrate it. Whatever success you recorded, you need to celebrate it. When you add additional certificates, let people are aware that you've added what? Additional certificates. That additional certificate, it doesn't come cheaply. It was a lot of effort. It was a lot of sacrifice. So it means it deserves to be celebrated. Building your reputation. What do you stand for? You must stand for something. Let people know you that this is what you stand for. It is not easy to build a reputation. It is all about your brand. You must stand for something, and people will begin to respect you for that. Request for additional work. I've mentioned that indirectly. Demand for more work. Let your guys see you as de facto what? De facto leader. Demand for more work. I was thinking, what can the HR manager, how can you be telling me you also want to go to the field? I said, okay, you can also go. Let me ask you to go towards Okyogun to go and check what the guy over there is doing. And believe me, when this guy came back, he gave me one of the best reports. A very precise, action-oriented report. No any business owner, a reasonable business owner, want to lose a good dance. I can tell you for free. No reasonable, no rational business owner want to lose a good dance. Like I said earlier, the macro business is fastly changing. There's a lot of pressures on our economy right now. And the only what can make us to be successful is to have the right person at the right place. So all business owners right now, they are striving to build business around people that they believe they can add value to their business. It's very important you have a relationship with your boss, because the more you get closer to your boss, the more you learn one or two things from him. Networking. What is your profession within the industry? Are you an HR practitioner? Are you an accountant? Are you a sales admin? We need to have this networking. And we need to explore digital positioning. Very important. What is your LinkedIn account? Your Instagram account? Very, very important. So all these points around positioning are very important. But we talked about positioning and we talked about employability. Very important. But at times, it may not quickly work the way you expected. Life is full of challenges. You can do all, but at times it may not work the way you expected. That is now what we now need to talk about what? That resilience. It's the resilience that now separate the boys from the men. And I can tell you, guys, what you can take out from here today is to look back and say, from today I'm a winner. I can be a winner. Because when I look, I always take our business, our distribution business as a case study of what you can achieve through resiliency. And they told me I have 5 minutes to go. This is going to take me to ask for additional 2 minutes. I'm not going to mind. Because for me, that is an aspect I want to share with you guys. How are you determined about life? How do you take the war to that poverty and say that I can defeat you? 10 years ago, when we joined Dangote as a distributor, we were not ranked. We are not among the top 17 distributors in this country. And when we had the first meeting with Dangote management that we want to be distributors, they were telling us, you guys, you came too late because you can't come into anything. And I said, sorry, we didn't came too late. We join now. Okay? Let's see what you can do. Within 1 year, from unranked number, we are not ranked. And I believe all of us, the meaning when we see someone is not ranked. Have you?
Yes.
Within 1 year, we moved to our number 50. And I told my guys, we have our eye. Is that number 1? I'm not going to negotiate it. And if I said I want to be number 1, and I'm taking beer, I'm just going to from one church to another, looking for a miracle center, and going from one mosque to another, asking our father to pray for us. It will never work. We need to go back to the drawing board and say, we need to build a structure. Not only structure, we must build a sustainable, goal-getting structure. We must carry out a network, strong analysis. What is our strength? What is our weakness? How can we plan for the future? And within 3 years down the lane, we jumped to number 20. I said, no, yes, we are making progress. Within the growth award we got in Dangote within 2 years, that award still remains. Nobody has ever matched that growth award. And I told my guys, in the course of that, there's a lot of challenges. Process compromise, people giving us headache. And for me, once I see that you are not looking at that bigger vision, you don't want to think, we are going to ask you to step aside. Is it that you belong to us or you are against us? And we jumped from 20, we moved to number 5. I said, yes, you are getting to this product class. But we are not yet here. Because what we are looking for what is number 1. Then we jumped from number 5 to number 3. And the person number 1 and number 2, they vow that never, Kaza will never beat us. If you are going to beat us, I said, we are going to beat you. Because the only way we can beat you is to work on your weakness. And we begin to diagnose their weaknesses. And we are strengthening our what? Our own strength. And between you and I, 2023, we were announced as the biggest singular distributor of cement within the pan Africa. So the summary of all we talked about when I want to start, I said this place is not a miracle center. And all what we mentioned, what I diagnosed here, don't take it as like normal mere academic exercise. We must go back to the Lord, look at those lines one after the other, and be resolute and say that I want to be a winner. Thank you very much.
Please give the applause on for Super Casino playing as a way to go to TikTok. Thank you very much. Okay, we go into questions very quickly. I mean, it's loaded us with a lot, and I might see people making notes. A lot of people are just nodding, getting some rema as he was speaking right there. I saw someone trying to edit their CVs and all that. Just keep it calm. I know you have questions. We are going to entertain just about 3 of them. But while you're asking the question, it's not just about taking all these rhetorics in. It's about being ready to practice everything you've heard. It's about being intentional about yourself. I mean, it's all love that we have great men here who are ready to help you impact your life. They could as well just sit back in their offices. I mean, they've achieved anyways. But just because they believe in you, and he said this is not a miracle center, you bring something to the table, and they look at what you brought to the table and see whether they can make something great of it. So let's just entertain questions very quickly, just about 3. Let me see, I'm going to pick hands. If you have any questions for him right about now.
My question is, so when we're talking about positioning, for instance, and as someone who is new to the job market, you mentioned having bosses who would also double as mentors. So, and we've also heard stories of people wanting to draw a line between work and interpersonal relationships. So my question would be that at what point do we really say that my boss remains my boss at work, and then trying to build a relationship with them? So this relationship, is it outside the work environment, or just have them as career mentors generally? And also, what do you do with a not so friendly boss? How do you manage that relationship? That's my question.
More of a formal business relationship, because we talked about mentorship. Definitely, your boss, when you are talking about your boss, are you talking about your immediate boss, or you are talking of that very senior boss? Whoever we are mentioning, you must have seen it at a very higher level, and you have a lot, to learn from, So it is more how can you be a coach to improve you on your job? Very important. Now, if you want to have a relationship outside the job in terms of normal, casual, social networking, that's another thing entirely. And you mentioned about friendly. For me, it is more of that friendly. I want to understand it properly, my sister. I want to understand.
All right. Okay. So when I mentioned friendly, I think that most people or people who occupy leadership positions can be a little bit, should I say, hostile. Not really hostile now, but I want to keep that space between them and subordinates. So when I used the word friendly, I meant to say that in cases where they are not as open as we would want them to be, what do we do in situations like that?
Also, I can put the things are not saying.
But again, you see, we have individual differences, and you can't change people overnight. For example, this is me. My name is Kazim. The way I perceive social relationship, it will definitely be different from how Mr. Dapo is going to perceive it. But the most important thing is ability to manage your boss. You must learn that. It's very, very, very key. It is a journey, because this, what the organizer just opened around what we are discussing, it can take us a whole 1 week, 2 weeks before we can fully diagnose. But the most important thing is, part of what you need to learn is, how do I need to manage my boss? It's very important. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that very interesting. So you have to also learn to manage your boss. I would have asked, but we don't have time. Is it a criteria to be a boss? You have to be mean, because somebody wanted to answer that question, but the person didn't come forward. Well, that's why you don't have to answer that one. I don't like when they call doctors, you see DR. They call engineers, you see ENG, HR, and all that. You see all these titles for all of these professions. But when it comes to those that are actually managing human capital resources, we should have an appellation for them as well. Maybe we should just always call them HR or Tuba or something. Doesn't make sense like that. On that note, someone who is also very, very sound and who's also done a lot of things in this human resources industry. Talking about HR, Olada Kwakloye. He's the convener of this event, the CEO of Pathpath Academy himself. And make bold to welcome HR Olada Kwakloye and let us hear from him as he does the welcome address.
So, by the way, for the past 5 years or more, we've been partners with LASU CDC, having different categories of youth empowerment and youth employability skills program. And this morning, I'm not so surprised we have a very large contingent of the LASU with us here this morning. So I'll just mention your name if you are here. Just stand up and wave your hand. Dr. Ajara Kafaya, Assistant Director, is here. Thank you for coming. Arewa Victoria, thank you for coming. Thank you so much. We have Adejo Titilayo, also from LASU, thank you. We have Adeyemi Mayowa Adeyinka from LASU, thank you. And we have Mr. Olushola Olumide from LASU. Thank you so much, LASU. Large contingent. We are LASU, we are great. Thank you. All right, why are we here in 2 minutes? Before I hand over the mic. Why are we here? All right, let me answer the question why we are here. I know we are here for different reasons. We are here to meet different needs. However, the major underlying reason why we are here this morning is already what is being done, what is being achieved. When we conceived this a couple of months ago, and we said, okay, let's put together a career fair where we'll be bringing together experienced professionals, where we'll be bringing together captains of industries, where we'll be bringing together heads of different units and departments in institutions, where we also will be bringing together young people who are aspiring to start up their career or those in the middle of their careers. We thought about bringing everybody together under a roof so that we can have an opportunity to interact, we can have an opportunity to learn, we can have an opportunity to tap from the experiences of others. That is the reason why we are here today. I mentioned something on the forum, I think sometimes about last week. And what I said was, we have always talked about our problems and our challenges. We've always discussed our challenges in different forums. Two people can discuss, we discuss challenges. If you come to a group, we discuss our challenges. However, only a few people go beyond discussing challenges to say, okay, what solutions can we bring to the table? What solutions can we bring to the table? And I want to say the major underlying reason why we are here this morning is to begin to say, how can we bring some solutions to the table that can benefit every one of us, irrespective of our different areas of our career journey. Keep your eyes on the ball, be determined. Just say to yourself that when I am leaving here this morning, I want to take something concrete out. And if you are here with that kind of decision and with that kind of determination, I can assure you that you'll be taking something very valuable out of this place this morning. So I'll hand over the mic to our MC as we get to the next session, which will be our first panelist discussion. Thank you so much. Can we put our hands together for ourselves? Thank you so much.
Thank you for standing by, ladies and gentlemen. While the intermittent breaks are ongoing, I think it's a perfect opportunity to actually, keep working on some of those things you think maybe should be done. Somebody was telling me just now how they picked into another person's CV, and I don't want us to do CV critique here, but sincerely, some CVs are actually very laughable. If you yourself are to employ yourself, Trust me, you won't treat yourself high. I see somebody feeling guilty right there, but it's all good. You know, Otuma mentioned this earlier that sincerely we are supposed to celebrate ourselves, celebrate your wins, regardless of what your job is. I mean, these days people try to, have very cool titles for their jobs. I've seen a dishwasher that wanted to apply for a job in the UK because of COS. Do you know what this person wrote as their role? Underwater ceramic technician. I'd be like, okay, how does washing plates add to technician in any way? I've seen bouncers call themselves a crowd control manager or alcohol compliance manager, something like that. That's a bouncer. I've seen barmen call themselves a beverage technician or beverage managers or something. Now, I don't know, what would your hairdresser call herself? Beauty, that sounds too. She just said beauty or stylist. It doesn't sound like something Dotuma wants to do a job for. You have to make you wait, make it sound. Okay, what will your mechanic? Okay, maybe mechanic is still quite cool. You can say maybe automobile engineer or something. DJ, what do we call you now? I want to craft a CD for you because this is it. You can craft CD for anybody. Trust me, I can craft CD for you. I don't call you sound engineer. Maybe decibel policy technician or something. It doesn't make sense to you. It shouldn't. You get the job, don't worry. I mean, let's get creative in the ways we have our titles, sincerely. It's a trick that has worked. I was in a conversation with Mr. Akiloye on radio the other day. And yes, he alluded to it. Sometimes it sounds like you're cheating your way through. No, get into the job first, then prove your way around it. In no particular order, please join me as I welcome Folusho Oluwafemi, Head Human Resources Canals Media Group. Round of applause for MSD. Okay, I did not hear yet. Okay, let's move on to the next person. Dr. Igot Ofem. Like that, right? Human Capital Development Expert, the career coach, mentor, and SGBBR advocate. That's sexual-based violence advocate. Dr. Ofem's activities include teaching, lecturing, research, and community service. She belongs to and functions in various societies, which includes the British Educational Leadership, Management, and Administration Society. That's Belfast. Oh, that's huge. And she's part of the Commonwealth Council of Educational Administration and Management. She's part of the American Educational Research Association, and also part of the World Education Research Association. That's where she's part of the Association of Economics of Education. That's all the way from Spain. And also part of the Nigerian Association of Educational Administrators and Planners, Science and Technology Education Research Group, SCRG. I mean, I have like 5 pages of our CV here, but let's just try a round of applause as we welcome her here. Also, let me also make you welcome another interesting personality that will be joining the panel session this beautiful afternoon. We have right here someone of great caliber as well that will be joining Dr. Ofem on this table. Welcome once again. I know I'm supposed to ask later on, but is Salesforce big in Nigeria yet? Okay, we'll get to that conversation because that's one thing people would also like to position themselves as they try to grow and develop. Okay, very quickly, let's move to the next panelist I'll be calling right here, talking about Bukola Kongwo. She's the Associate Director of Projects IHS Towers. Is she very much available right now? Okay, thank you so very much for coming here. I mean, she also has a very, very impressive CV. I'm seeing about 7 pages here. God help me. Prior to her current designation, Bukola was the Associate Director of Human Resources at IHS Tower. She is very much passionate about contributing to the growth and professionalism of the HR industry as a whole. And through the practice and execution of globally and locally endorsed processes, which culminate in the existence of highly developed and trained professionals and leaders within the workforce. And see, she holds various organizational and human resources positions across several organizations with the FMCG industry. And that's one industry a lot of people want to get into. But guess what? Now she has joined the Money Men, talking about the telecom sector. She's very passionate about empowerment, she's passionate about growth, and she's a certified professional counselor. And doesn't just end there. She is an author of a very, very important book, An Escape into the Calm. Join me once again to welcome this woman of the quintessential path to the football. Global Communications, he founded that in 2014, am I right? Yeah, he founded Global Communications in 2014, and that agency has flourished to the extent that it has empowered a lot of small businesses. It has crafted and executed data-driven digital strategies that have cultivated meaningful customer connections. Are you noting down these keywords? These are words and phrases that will get you through the door. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, please welcome Mr. Olumide. Okay, and yes, we have our work cut out for us. The first panel begins. Please ready to deep dive and enjoy.
Please can we put hands together for this? From your experience, just looking at this team, somebody walks to you and says, how do I position? Do I position myself? I want to grow in my career. I'm lost. I don't understand what will you be telling that person just in a minute or two. So let me just start from the gentleman next to me, Mr. Benga Johnson.
All right.
What will you be saying to this thing?
I knew that was going to happen because I was sitting next to you. All right. So for me, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for the resilience in enduring all that we're experiencing. So for me, the takeoff point for anyone to talk about resilience is having a vision. Okay, so you can't be talking about resilience if you don't know where you are going. What are you determined to do? What are you going for? So if you don't have a clear definition of your destination, then you cannot determine if you are having any challenge getting there. So I think a lot of the challenge that most people have is, so we get into the university, we wanted to do medicine, we wanted to do computer science, but they gave us physics, right? And then we graduated with physics. And then you are wondering, what are you going to do with physics? Or what are you going to do with biology education, right? But the point is that, many of us, as we journey through the process of learning, what the university education is supposed to do to us is to refine our mind, is to begin to prepare us, for the future, is to begin to position us, just like Otumba was saying, as people who can solve problems. I have a couple of teenagers at home, and I told them, I don't care the course that you want to do, but just have a problem-solving mindset. And when you solve problems, people will pay you. The world will reward you for solving problems. So if you don't have a destination, if you don't know where you are going, you can't be talking about facing resistance. And we are talking about resilience when you are facing resistance. So what do you do to ensure that this destination that you are going to, you are able to achieve it? So for example, very simple one, I want to get out of this room, right? So that's my purpose. And then everywhere is choked. But I must get out of the room because I want to achieve something. So what do I begin to do? I begin to find the easiest path. I begin to show, I begin to push, I begin to do all that I need to do, or I begin to persuade people. And that's the process of, weathering the opposition that you face in being able to get to the destination. So for me, there must be a purpose. You can't sit here, you don't know where you are going, you don't know your career objective. You can't be talking about resilience. So I think I will hang it there.
All right. Great. Thank you so much. So if you just pass over the mic next to Mr. Glovey.
All right. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here this morning to talk to you all. Just piggybacking off what he has just said, vision is very important for every person, whether you're young, whether you're old. As long as you're old enough to have dreams, you're old enough to visualize yourself where you want to be, right? But I find in my experience so far that anybody can have vision. Like, I can ask you, when we were young, they always asked us, what do you want to become in the future? When I was young, I wanted to become an ambassador, right? Because I liked the sound of the name, like ambassador of Nigeria to US. I didn't even know what it meant then, but the sound of that name. So I could easily answer the question that I had a vision for myself, but was that really a vision if I didn't understand what I was even talking about, right? As I grew older, I started to develop love for the arts, right? I wanted to become an actor. So somehow, JAMB gave me theater arts in OAU, right? it wasn't planned, but somehow it was something I loved. But I found myself studying theater arts. But today, I'm a marketing professional, 10 years experience. How did I move from that to this? And that has taught me that, look, you can tell yourself that you have a vision. If you have not created that process in your mind of how to move from dreams to reality, you have not started, right? And there are two critical things I always tell everyone I talk to that can take you from your dream to reality. And they are the easiest things to do, but also the hardest things to do. And I bring them down to two things: discipline and work ethic, right? And if you look at some of the things that we're going to be talking about today, we're talking about resilience, we're talking about building employability skills, we're talking about career growth. You can't achieve resilience or build any important skill or transferable skill or even grow your career if you do not have the right discipline and if you do not develop the right work ethic. And work ethic is one thing I see that is very missing in a lot of young people today, right? A lot of seniors here, right, who are seated with me, they grew under certain conditions that just made it important for you to grow by your work ethic. How important is it? How important do you take your work? And work ethic does not even start when you start working. It starts from your university, from school. How important did you take your grades? Because you wonder why first-class graduates tend to perform better at jobs than third-class graduates, because they grew certain work ethic in the process of study that became a habit, right? They grew certain discipline in the course of study that became a habit. And once you develop what we call habits, it's difficult for you to derail from it. If you are an habitual reader, you will have knowledge. If you are a habitual solutions provider, you become valuable. If you are a habitual, man of vision, you become a big entrepreneur. So what I want everybody to do, if we don't take anything out of here today, is to say, do I have the right work ethic? You can build it. Do I have the right discipline? You can build it. How much time do you spend on social media? How much time do you spend chasing frivolities, really? You just need to determine, how do I, apportion my time the right way to build the right skills that will make me become the next valuable person in the room. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this. So from ambassador to marketing what? Marketing communication now today. Maybe we'll ask him after, what next? All right. So let me take it from that point, Dr. Ofen. So I'm sure today what you do is you are responsible for looking for this Center for Gender Response and the prevention and all of those stuff, right? Thank you. I'm sure this is not what you studied in the university, have you? Or is there a course like that in last week? Okay, so this I'm sure is part of growth. You started somewhere, today you are here and you are managing this position in an institution. How did you get here?
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I want to say, starting from the theme of this program, building. Building requires a lot of effort. It requires conscious effort. It requires a lot of work. So when we are talking about building resilience, it's something that you must involve yourself in. Let me take it back practically from a personal experience. When I was growing up, like Mr. Benga was saying, everybody, we have what we call the legacy parent. Mommy is a doctor, dad is a doctor, you want your child to be, and they program you into being that. So all the while, I want to become a medical doctor. I was jammed the first time. I didn't meet this call. And daddy said, look, you are a girl. And time does not wait for anyone. Why didn't you all your YA results? I had A1 in economics, I had A2 in chemistry. Okay, just like you, just like chemistry. Do it very quickly. I spent 4 years in the university. Industrial chemistry was very, very interesting. I want to actually say, I'm what I am today because of the skills I built, the critical skills, thinking, your ability to sit in a laboratory for 48, 72 hours, building, manufacturing, one thing or the other, was very, very interesting. Good as that may be, when I finished, my career started very much with the public service. I came, there was an opportunity for somebody to contest for councillorship in my local government. And then it was an all-men field. You know, a woman was coming in, and for me, I also am a Christian, not just the church-going type. So we had issues where political fathers would say, this one is SU. She will not know how to call white black. I will not know how to. There were those challenges, but I made up my mind. I'm going to contest this election without compromising who I am. And when they saw that, let's give a woman a chance. And that was how I won my election. I won my opponent. Then it was the Second Republic, SDP, NRC, and I was in the last party. I won my opponent landslide. Shortly after that, when people saw your hard work, your results that you have been produced, I went again. I became the vice chancellor, the vice chairman of the local government for 3.5 years until the NS government came. So during that period, fortunately, I was also the only lady vice chairman working in the midst of men. And you see those challenges of, you are, councillorships part. Councillor, how are you? Don't touch me like that. I'm somebody's wife. What do you mean? Am I not somebody's husband? Am I not? You know, right from that, there was this feel of the female gender is usually being seen as, let me say, a toy in the hands of men. When a woman says no, they are actually being to say yes. There are all those things. But I had to build myself and look, you can stand out and make a difference. When that's finished, remember, I've not used industrial chemistry, but I went to spend the hair. So I had this love for young people. I began setting up young groups of young people, teaching them here and there. And the opportunity came for me to work with the Ministry of Defense. And then I was teaching some young people. I had to do beyond the teaching the young people. I like to find out, why are you not happy? Why are you not in class? And I got to discover that young people have a lot of challenges, and they actually need one person or the other to open up to be able to help them and guide them. And I was fine. I had my PhD. There was time to leave this level and then get into the university. At the university, with my PhD, I was sharing with a colleague. I said, I don't even have a photograph with my PhD gown, yes, because I know what my colleagues then were doing. Once you do your convocation, you put a very big banner, everybody gets to know. I told myself, beyond this PhD, I want to add value. Okay? I want to make impact in the lives of people. God has helped me all throughout. You know, with that, the first thing was the Vice Chancellor then came up and said, I want to start a career center in this university. I will need you to go and do a research for me. What did you take? Beyond just searching and reading, I came up with how do we have a career center in the university? I enrolled myself into most of these associations, American Employability, UK. I was writing papers for them. I needed to gather the skills on what it takes to really set up this thing. And as it went, by the time it was time, the master was it's only the person that has been building it that must lead it. And that was how I became the director for Career Development Center then for a period of about 3 years. And while that was on, you see, when you are adding value, because I know at about that time people were saying things like, you are just working yourself for nothing. Let me tell you something, these people will just use you and dump you. I know what my answer then was and is today. Nobody dumps offend me. Because you are relevant to the extent to which you add value. So long as you keep adding value, people will look for you.
Good.
People will always. So it got to a point where once there is any business, any organization coming into the university for one thing, Vice Chancellor will say, interface with FM. And once you come to me, okay, how do you go about it? And the program is established. As the director of Career Development Center, I was also managing the sexual and gender-based violence, the team lead. God helping us, we were able to develop a policy for United Nations. And as time went on, a new Vice Chancellor came in and said, you have done well in the career. Come and lead the Center for Sexual and Gender-Based Violence. So that was how I became the director. And so far, God helping us, we have done marvelously well.
Wow.
Marvelously well. Don't say Dr. Femi is praising herself. Don't say that. Before now, we used to have the issue of students coming to the university and you cannot graduate because one lecturer or the other is making advances and they are sitting down. That is history now in the university. Because all cases of students coming in and the Center for Response and Prevention of Sexual and Gender-Based Violence services both students and staff. Okay. So we can created a safe haven for the staff and the students. And the Vice Chancellor once made a comment and said, this directorate has built in confidence. There is increased reporting now. We've had some lecturers being dismissed from the system. We've had some being demoted. People are now confident to now come and say, this person is harassing me.
All right. So we also know where it is starting from. At least we have an inkling to the fact that you've always been along that line of standing apart and standing for your gender to also show a mark. So great. Okay, let me quickly come to you now. Again, while you are being introduced, you started off your career sometimes in telecoms, I guess. Somewhere, you went to telecoms, then you led up into other industry, FMCG, you went around, and you find yourself again back in. Is this part of the growth plan? Was this planned from the beginning? Or what are one or two things that has led you this far? Just some experience sharing briefly. Thank you.
Okay. I wish I could tell you that I had a plan from the onset. But I think like we all know about life, right? Sometimes you don't quite know what path, your career will take. For me, I think I would describe myself as an adventurer because I like to take opportunities and, see what will come out of it. I studied educational technology, but when I entered university to study electrical engineering. So what happened? Life happened. I wanted to do something really different from what my parents were doing, what my siblings were doing. So I said I was going to go and study engineering. My father said, there's nobody in our family that is an engineer. This path that you are taking is for guys. What are you looking for? At that point, I must tell you, I didn't know either. But you know what? I had gone on my own, filled my JAMB for myself, put the University of Ilorin. I didn't know anyone there. I'm not from Kwara State. I wanted to be far away from my family. I wanted to chart my own course. So I did electrical engineering for the first 2 years and I failed. And I had never failed before because in my primary school and in my secondary school, I had, certificates, awards, recognitions for different things. So this was something that I had never experienced before. And for me, the reason why I'm sharing this story is because it ties in with this resilience thing. Because as much as we talk about resilience being, you just stick at it and all that, there's a part of resilience that is born from failure. And if you have not failed before, you cannot understand
Somebody picking something.
what it means to pick yourself from the ground and stand up. And when I say fail, I'm glad that there are coppers here and there are freshers here. I mean failing where they tell you advice to withdraw. Yes. So I had what we call today a destiny helper. A faculty officer who reached out to me and said, I look at you and I see you have potential. Do you know what? What else would you like to do aside the engineer? I said, the engineer, I don't know any other thing. So she said, okay, you know what? What I can do is that with your results and all that, and when I say results, I mean school sets, why don't you go and try, spend 1 year in education? Since you are so fixated on something that has to do with technology, we have a department, the Educational Technology Department. Go and spend 1 year there. And then after that, if you still want to do this, then we can now have a conversation. So this very kind woman, Destiny Helper, arranged for me to change faculties and also and departments. So I moved from I moved from main campus, for those who know University of Ilorin, moved from there to the mini campus. And then I started. I had lost my self-esteem because I had never failed before. I didn't know, I was that child in the family where everybody would be like, just be like her. So I was that person who all of a sudden had to go and do education, and education for me was equal to teacher. So I was like, I'm going to now be a teacher. And my family, I love my mother's family, quite a number of teachers there. I didn't want to be a teacher. My mother was a teacher. I didn't want to be a teacher. I wanted to be in a place where I could make money, and continue to stand out as I had always desired to. To shorten my story, at the end of that year, after doing the first 2 semesters, my grades went from someone who was like 40%, 30%, because I didn't understand even what I was learning, to somebody who was getting 80s and 70s. In fact, my first results that came out, I had to ask someone to please check that this is my matric number, but the score does not look like it's my own, And I began to taste success again. And by the time at the end of that year, I told myself, I'm not going back to engineering, I'm winning here. So I also dealt with, what do I do with this certificate? Where do I start from? And that's where resilience helps you recognize that you're not perfect, you can fail, but also gives you the courage to try again and keep trying. And today, honestly, I don't think my degree has anything to what maybe it opened a door, because by the time I left university, and my story is a bit long, but by the time I left university and I really started working, I found myself my first real job in telecoms, and that was in learning and development. And this was someone who had studied educational technology. So somehow, the learning parts and understanding how people learn and how to transfer information and give them, help them to grow and learn new things became something that I ended up doing, and this provided a platform. So, just to round up, you need to be adventurous. And you also need to embrace the fact that you will not be perfect and you will fail. And you know what? It's okay. A lot of these organizations that we admire today, the GEs, the big, 100 years firms that we look up to today, both nationally and globally, they have their own stories and their own journeys. And I can tell you, for a lot of them, it's hit and miss, until they begin to find something that helps them to start winning. So resilience is critical for us to be impactful today, for us to be able to have careers that are meaningful, and for us to live lives that add value. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's put hands together for our panelists. Great. So listening to all of them this morning, one thing that is clear is nobody arrived here in one day. Are we together? There's always a journey. There's always a journey. But what makes you arrive at a destination, even if there's no end, you still continue on the journey. But what takes you from one point to the other is that capacity, that ability to continue to do what? To keep moving, to keep learning, and to keep growing. Thank you so much. In just two minutes, because of our time, just two minutes because of it. And we have very young, aspiring, great potentials, talent in the room here this morning. I'm sure a lot of them will walk up to you after this session, say, what can I do? So just in 2 minutes, as we pass the mic back, let me start from Benga. Somebody walks to you in the room. I'm sure you may not be able to meet more than 10, 15, depending on the time, but you have the opportunity now. Can you just talk to people here for just 2 minutes? What can we take out of this place today? Tied to this team, tied to your experience, and in building their career. Thank you so much.
Okay. So one factor that I consider fundamental for us to be able to succeed is our motivation. Okay? We must be motivated to do what we do. Then the second point about motivation is where's your motivation coming from? I like the word and the sound of intrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation means that your motivation is coming from within. Because there's nothing that we have set out to achieve. I mean, the story that everyone has said here came with all kinds of challenges. I mean, my story was almost similar to our story. I went to Great Ife. Okay. And I wanted to be a doctor. Had brilliant results, but at the end of the day, I left university with microbiology certificate. And so yes, so the point of intrinsic motivation now became that, look, whether it is microbiology or whatever it is that I come out with in this university, I must succeed. So my motivation is from within. It's not external. It's not about what do you have to show the world. And then it became a solution. And just like you said, nobody is also promising you that you will not face another challenge tomorrow. So from there again, I was doing well in my career, then I lost my job again. So all these checks and all these challenges will be. And if your motivation is about things that are external, about the achievements that people can see, maybe money, all those things that are physical, those things may not work out all the time. I don't know if I'm sounding too big, or real. But my point is that if it is in your mind that you want to succeed, and just like when I started Authors Bridge about 10 years ago, we actually passed 10. And I remember one of the first programs that I went for a seminar in a bank. I don't want to advertise any bank now. And then they started reading out statistics. They said, before 5 years, 80% of businesses die. Okay? So it is not only about I forbid it in Jesus' name. It's not about, I told myself, I said, okay, now I have known the numbers. I promised myself that my business will be among the 20%. I didn't know what it was. So some of these things, we will also have to say them out and then see the challenge that we have given ourselves. And one of the things that came out for me was that during COVID, our revenue grew more than when there was no COVID. This is a month that we were locked down 4 months, and I was asking myself, so a lot of things can come from being motivated from within. And that can, help you to weather a lot of storms. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Self-motivation, determination. Thank you so much. Yes, Mr. Glove.
All right. Thank you very much for that. I think it's very important that we all have, this intrinsic motivation. I've spoken about discipline and work ethic area. So I'll just add 2 more things to it. And I feel like many of us go to these things. We hear a lot of things, but one thing just has to stick, right? And you just have to go with it. But 2 key critical things I'm going to talk about now is, first, you need to determine, Because where we are in Nigeria today, the unemployability rate we have in Nigeria is, I'm not talking of unemployment rate, I'm talking of unemployability rate, meaning we have a lot of young people out there who should naturally be employable, but they are not employable because they lack certain either skills, exposure, or they've not applied themselves enough. I interview people almost every week, so I see these things, right? So it's not for the lack of jobs. There are jobs. People japa every day in this country, and they leave their jobs behind, but there are no people to fill them, right? So it means that there is a gap between where you are now and where you should really be, right? So what should you be doing? One, you must determine that I don't want to be a big player. I want to be an A player. Do you know what it means to be an A player? Somebody who sets high standards for themselves always. I mean, you must have a distinction mindset. Whatever it is I'm going to do, I must leave a mark of excellence on it. I must leave a mark of distinction. I don't want to be average. That's what it means to say I don't want to be a big player. I just don't want to do it. Oh, my other is giving me this task. Let me just get it done. You need to apply yourself. Initiative. Take the initiative. Read wide. And that takes me to the next one so that I don't take time. You need to constantly develop yourself. Constantly. Every day. And we live in a digital technology. Sometimes when I say this, I want to cry because you don't even need money to grow today. You don't need a lot of money. On social media, see, I tell people why I like Twitter above every other social media is because you can just be scrolling and be learning because of the quality of conversations that happen on that platform. I read Reddit, I read Quora more than any other platform because just by reading, just by scrolling, you'll be learning a lot. YouTube is there. You don't have to subscribe anything more than your data. But people are more interested in watching skits, more interested in doing TikTok. And these things have a way of dulling your sensibilities. It dulls your sensibilities, it dulls your creativity, it weakens your mindset and your motivation. Because what you are doing is getting cheap dopamine. Do you know what it means? When you have more dopamine in your body, you are looking for easy things. So you will not be able to flex your muscle. If I say I want to grow 6-pack, of course, I don't have 6-packs today. What do I need to do? I have to go to the gym. I have to lift weights and all of that. It's the same thing with your mind. The more you train your mind, the more your brain extends in capacity, and you will see the difference in the quality of work that you put out. If you don't learn anything else today, decide that from today, I don't want to be average, and I will always develop myself. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have a witness in the house. Thank you so much. Doctor?
Thank you. Taking off from there,
Yeah.
I had an enemy called Average. I don't know whether you have read that book.
Yeah.
When I came in contact with that book, I told myself, I can never be an average. And it showed up when during my PhD, I had a GP of 4.8, and everybody was shouting, how did you do it? So what I have for the teaming young people coming up, wherever you find yourself, make the best out of it. Don't say, I'm in this place, this is not even what I want. This is not no. Make the best out of it. Add the much value you can. Be flexible and open up for opportunities as they come. You know, if you keep putting in your best, definitely you will get to where you are going.
Thank you so much. Be flexible, open up yourself opportunities, take them as they come. Yes, Mrs. Concord.
Thanks. I really have to add to what he said about having, learning. Today, so two things. In today's workforce, what are employers looking for? They're looking for people who will have a solution mindset, who will come and bring answers to the questions and the challenges that they have. And you don't have to be a director to be able to do this. So if you look at Nigeria, I think we have an opportunity. And the opportunity is that compared to the more developed, they're way ahead of us. They've looked at their processes, they've streamlined them, and they've been able to use technology to make things efficient and more impactful for their end customers. Here we're a bit behind, let's be honest. But then, that's where the opportunity is. Because we know and we can see what it could be, what the big picture could be. So, for those of you that are seated here, that are either mid-career or you're looking for jobs, the question you should be asking yourself is, if I'm looking at this industry, what value can I bring? What skills can I bring to the table? Some are very easy. And honestly, this generation, I think, is so fortunate. There's so much information out there. You don't need to pay anything to learn how to become a data analyst. You don't need to pay anything to learn how to do project management. A lot of these esteemed universities are offering them for free online. There are so many freebies. So my question will be, what are you doing with this information that you have? You know, because for those of us that are in the workforce that recruit people, you come in here, we know how to package you very well. We know how to speak Queen's English. We know how to say all the right things. The panelists, they like you. You come in. Then, you do the work. That's where the challenge is. Solutions are not being provided. Then we find ourselves having to lift and pick and start training all over again. So, how do you stand out amongst the pack? What are you going to do differently that will make yourself, memorable to your panelists, to the people that you work for? Because, and I know that Dako is familiar with this, when we have talent review councils, when we talk about employees and their potentials and, how we can help them grow their careers, we look out for those people. The people who are already showing us that they don't need to be supervised, that they take initiative, that they are lifelong learners, that they're not waiting for HR to send them to Harvard to train. They take their money, they invest in their development.
And what they've explained so far, I want to put it in just 3 words of what needs to be done. That winning mentality, you must have that winning mentality. Because I was strictly 100% science biased. Along the line, I said, no, I want to go to Polytechnic. Then I put in for computer science. With just 2 marks, I couldn't make it to computer science. I ended up with business admin. ONDB's admin, HNDB's admin. I said no. Immediately when I was in HND, I said, I need to go to university. When I was in HND 1, Polytechnic Ibadan, I was in Part 1 accounting of Obafemi Awolowo University. And I ran the program concurrently. Eventually, I graduated from HND with upper division and also from IFE in accounting with 2-1. And from there, went part-time, full-time. And from then, I had that determination. I sat down. What do I want for myself? I'm extremely motivated that I want to be the best. And I make sure that for about 5 years, virtually every year, I have a course to go for one professional examination. I'm a chartered accountant with many other professional qualifications. I had my first master from Obafemi Awolowo University and my second master from Business School of Netherlands. But what I've seen in this, my very short journey, is that ability of that winning mentality, that I want to be a winner. 24/7, I have that vision, I have that plan, and I do regular review to check that, am I moving in that path? And when there's need for me to delay gratification, to delay enjoyment, I try to do that as well. This is just my own summary. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You're done. You're done. Then we'll run the session. Okay. 10 seconds. You're good.
Okay. Well, I just want to do a little bit of table shaking for some of us here. While we were growing up, our parents were telling us about their distractions at work, which was a bad boss, a colleague that wanted to take them out of their position. But these days, in addition to some of those human elements, I think the distractions that young people have added is one, social media. Two, side hustle. So, yeah, I mean, it's safe to have side. So I just wanted to say that, I mean, we should ask ourselves, how much is too much? Some people get to work in the morning, the first thing they want to do is to check all the skits that have been released in the morning. There is no way that will allow you to optimize your time at work. Then the other one, which is the side hustle, you are doing your job, you are running around. I mean, what the company is paying you for is really your time. Okay, so I encourage people that are working with me, I encourage them, develop your skills. If you have something that can help you extra income, but make sure that that is not conflicting with your work. It's not fighting for the time that the company is paying you, because we are talking about growth here. Because once the company sees that this guy is not committed, and unfortunately there are people who have allowed this to, I mean, we're talking about a case recently, somebody at the chief C level of the business had to be asked to leave the business because of side hustle that was conflicting with the position, big salary, you know. So I think as young people we must see how we can address the issue of social media and side hustle so that we can manage our growth very well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, our panelists. Have they added value? Have they added value? Please, I know we've been sitting for a while. Can we stand up and just give them an applause? I say thank you. Let's put that together for them. Thank you so much, our panelists. As you find your way back to your seat and hand over the mic to your ears. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
My name is Mrs. Ojewale Yewande. I'm representing the Assistant Director, Skill Acquisition and Entrepreneurship Development, NYSC, Lagos. Firstly, as I've said earlier, I want to give a huge thumb up to the organizers of this laudable program. You know, an opportunity for core members as well as undergraduates to know what is expected of them in the income training program is to introduce them to skills that they learn, so that by the time they are through with the orientation program, they will go for the post-camp training, and that will give them the opportunity to complete the training in which they started at the orientation camp. Also, after the service, we introduce what we call JAC. That's job awareness for core members about to exit the scheme. A lot of the core members here today fall into that category. That is why it is very important that they listen attentively, because we have CEOs in the house, people that can give you employment instantly as we speak.
Find opportunity like this, I will advise us, the students, those in the final year, the core members, to always present themselves so that they can know what is obtainable in the labor market. Once again, we thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Komi Lawal Fiber, let's have the please on the master. Round of applause.
Thank you. Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. We feel honored as a Fiber One Broadband Internet to be part of this Lagos Career Fair 2004. This is something, sorry, Lagos Career Fair 2024.
It's time travel, don't worry.
This is something my MD always like to be part of. Going by the team, Otumba has said so much about it, and going back to it will not really make any meaning. But I can pick just two things from this team, which is focus and planning. And I can relate that even to the journey of my MD. And what do I mean? Fiber One Broadband is an internet company, but I started like 30 years ago, just as a cyber cafe. But today, it is a global brand, recognized all over the world. It's because of a lot of effort was put in place, and resilience, which I summarize as planning. We all know today, without internet, nothing can be done. Sometimes I do ask myself, that what would the world be without internet? I want to assure all of us here that an average person in this hall would even prefer not to have food in their belly than not having internet on their devices, like our phones, laptops, TVs, and what have you. And why? Because internet has become the dot that connects the world together. Also, it opens a lot of doors of opportunities, and without it, a lot of work won't be get done easily. So, like I said, who are we at FiberOne? We are the largest broadband internet company in Nigeria, and our cutting-edge technology places us above all the ISP industry in Nigeria as we speak today.
I'm just here to talk about IDP and what we have to offer. If you are not aware, IDP are co-owners of the IELTS with British Council also. We conduct the IELTS test in Nigeria presently. We have various venues across Nigeria. We have venues in Ibadan, we have venues in Abuja, we have one in VI, we have another one at Alausa, we have our headquarters at Isaac John GRA in Ikeja. We are here to answer inquiries and any questions that you have for us. We are just very here to answer you. You can use the IELTS to go to various locations in the world, and I think we all know that. But specifically, you require some amounts of training. We don't do that training. We advise that you do the training, or you come to our centers to write the test in conducive environments where it's very, very comfortable for you to conduct, to do your test, and at least you are assured of good scores. Also, we are here to register anybody that is registering here. We have a free gift for you from IDP IELTS. As far as you are registering here and you are making payments with me today, I have a gift for you. You